What's up, everyone? Kaplow here for another Starfield Basic. Alright guys, let's go over how to evaluate your guns on the damage per second and how much power they soak up. So we're going to first start with the Mauler 105U. This one does 6 shield damage, 20 hull damage, and has a fire rate of 3.49 projectiles per second. And then it uses 4 power. Most of the weapons you're going to see are going to use 4 power, some of them don't. With this damage as well as fire rate, we're going to see that they have basically a DPS of 90.74. So basically it does 90.74 damage per second. Now if we scroll way down here, the Marauder 114 ANC railgun. So as you can see immediately, this is on a Class C ship. And I had to scroll way down to get to it, so you'd think it's probably better than the other gun. Well, let's evaluate. This one does 13 damage to the shields, 43 hull damage, which is more damage than it was doing than the other one, with a fire rate of 1.5 projectiles per second. So that actually gives us a DPS compared to the Mauler 105U of 84. You're actually getting less DPS with this gun that requires to be on a Class C ship, and it uses the same amount of power, so you'd think that it would be better because you're scrolling way down, but it doesn't seem to be the case. So let's go look at something else. We've got a few other ones that I want to evaluate. We've just got 2 more. This one's called the Mauler 107i. So this one does 10 shield damage, it does 34 hull damage, and it's a fire rate of 2.5 projectiles per second. So that gives us a DPS of 110 damage per second, which is great. So that's the best so far that we've looked at, and it wasn't even the furthest down the list like we saw with that Marauder, and so you're getting significantly better damage per second. Now the next one I want to evaluate is the KE-42. Let's go find that one. I think that might have actually been above this. Oh yeah, so it was below a little bit. So the KE-42 cannon, this one goes on a Class B ship. So it, our assumption is it's going to be better than all the other ones we saw, but let's hold up and see. It does 9 shield damage, it does 31 hull damage, and has a fire rate of 2.5 projectiles per second. Now this gives us a DPS of 100, which is slightly below the DPS of 110 for the Mauler 107i. However, this one only requires 3 power to use. And so the KE-42 has a damage per second power ratio of 25.8, whereas the Mauler only has 21.5. So what you'd want to do with the KE-42 is actually have more KE-42s on your ship. That way you'll get more bang for your buck when it comes to your power. It doesn't have the raw DPS of the Mauler 107i, but when you put more of those on there, you're going to get to, one, shoot way more projectiles, which just looks cool. And then also, you're going to be doing more damage overall when you have more of them on your ship compared to, like, say, 2 107is versus 3 KE-42s. So whenever you're looking at your weapons, make sure you're doing that ratio. And unfortunately for you, it might mean what you have to do is what I had to do, and I had to bust out a spreadsheet. Ultimately, I made a few formulas on here. I can share these with you guys, but I had to plug in all these numbers so I could find the best guns in the game, because I was just, pulling my hair out thinking, oh, this is better, whereas it wasn't necessarily. So if you are looking at guns, make sure you're doing those ratios to see what's giving me the most damage per second, but also what's giving you the most damage per second per power ratio. I hope this is helpful. If it was, give it a like. And if you need anything else, find me when you need me.